Hey there, it's Rainy from No Idle Hands, and today I'm going to be making a video. It was the request of a family member to make a potholder like my mom and my aunt used to make. And so the potholder, which this one's not finished yet, but it's similar to this. It's a square potholder, and when this is finished, it's going to have these two corners plus a little hangy loop. It's very simple to make in the fact that it's just single crochets, and you just go around and around and around a single chain, which you can't really see now that I've got this going here, but this was actually where I started. And as you work your single crochets, it's going to look like this, like a this side is connected here, but it's like a big rectangle, and then it goes like this, and it meets here in the middle. So I mean, that's kind of the way the construction of this goes, and this is like one of the easiest potholders I ever learned to make. It's good for stash busting. It's just good for practice on single crochets. And if you know how to make a slip stitch, you don't have to even sew this shut. You can slip stitch it shut. But you can also, you have the option to sew it shut too if you want to sew it shut. So what I'm using, I'm just using a 4-weight yarn that I just had laying around, and I'm using a 7-point, or not a 7-point, but a 3-point. It's a size 7, which is it's just an odd size. I think it's a 4.5. Anyway, it's somewhere between a G and an H. You can, if you crochet loose, you can use a G or an F. If you crochet tighter, you could do like an H or an I. But the point is, you want a nice tight fabric. You don't want anything, since this is a potholder, you don't want to be able to stick your fingers through it to get them burned. So a lot of folks I've read, because I've done a little bit of research, say that acrylic will melt. This may be true, but my mom and my aunt made these potholders, like I say, and they started back in the 70s making these potholders, and that's all they had was acrylic. So I mean, feel free to use whatever you want, cotton, acrylic, wool, whatever. I'm not going to say the acrylic is not going to melt, but it's not going to like totally melt down. I mean, you might see like a pot ring where it just has kind of melded the fabric or the strands together, but it's not going to like melt. As with any potholder, it can catch on fire, you know, if you get it too close to open flame. But I've had these potholders around my house for decades, and they are still in use today. I mean, they are super durable no matter what they're made out of, because of the double layer and because of the tight construction. So with that being said, I have already chained. Now mine is only, this little thing is only 11 chains long, and that's only for demonstration purposes. You're going to want, so the smaller the potholder, the fewer the chains. The bigger the potholder, the more chains. Average is about somewhere between 40 and 50. Now it doesn't really matter, you can just pick an arbitrary number. This one here that I had, the gray one, I think was like 42 or 45 maybe. Doesn't really matter. It's not like you're going to keep count. Now, if you find that you're dropping stitches, you might want to keep count. You know, if you're losing stitches, it's obviously going to affect the outcome, but I'm fairly certain that I am not losing stitches anywhere, so I don't even bother to keep count anymore. It's somewhere, as long as I get somewhere close to 50, you know, I just stop there. Anyway, back to this. So like I said, I only have 11 here. I'm going to assume you know how to make a slip stitch and a chain. So I'm going to show you how to make the single crochet. And there's two different ways you can make a single crochet. It's still similar in nature, but I mean, one way makes a tighter stitch. So if you're a looser crocheter, you might want to do that. And mind the fact that I am left-handed, so you might want to turn your stuff around. Okay, so we're going to skip this first one right here. And in this video, I'm using like a super big, I'm using a 7mm, just so you can see what I'm doing. So if it looks looser on camera, that's why. So we're going to skip this first one right here, and we're going to go in the second one. And then, now this is where it can get different. Either you yarn under and pull through and make a loop. And pull through your loops. Both loops. And that is a single crochet. Okay. You can also, that one's for the tighter. For the looser, you can over the hook and through. And there you go. That's the other kind. So it doesn't really make a difference for this pattern what you do. I like the tighter one. But to be honest, when I'm just chilling out watching TV, I sometimes do both and don't even pay attention. So again, we're going to go, this is the important part. However you yarn over, you just pull up a loop, you yarn over again, and take it through both. That is a single crochet. And you're going to do that all the way across through the chain. Now it's important to note that there are two sides to this chain. There's this side and there's this side. You only want to go through this top one for now. And you go under and through. Under. This project's also very forgiving. If you however you do it, there is no wrong way really, as long as you follow pretty much, and as long as you get one stitch in every stitch, you should be fine. Now we're here at the end, and this gets a little bit harder, especially for me on camera. So there we go. Okay, now we've come to the end. You're going to put, you've already put one in there, so you're going to put one more in here, like this. And you can see we're just kind of turning the chain as we go. And now we've turned it upside down, and we're going to put I want to make sure I grab the right one. We're going to put a third one in there. So on that end one, and if you only get two in there, oops, sorry guys. If you only get two in there, fine. If you get three in there, fine. Whatever. Like I said, this is some videos I've seen two, some videos I've seen three. And then you're just gonna, that bottom ridge there, we're just gonna put one stitch in each one across, just like this. It's a little harder on the way back because it's not as loose as it was. And this is where you're putting it, in this little row here. Now I will say, if you put 3 in the end, you're going to want to put 3 in the other end. Or if you only put 2 in the end, you're going to want to put 2 in the other end. So just, you know, try to keep it even. And I'm trying to go nice and slow so you can watch me make these stitches. And here we are at the end. And I'm going to put 2 in that end one because I already have 1 in there. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Okay, so I have 18 here. Yours is going to be different depending on how many you chained. So, okay, we're, like I said, we're back at the beginning. So what you're going to do is that first one right there, you're just going to go into it. You're not going to join it or anything like that because we're doing this in the round. You're just going to stick your crochet hook through, yarn over, and from now on, we're only putting 1 single crochet in each stitch around, and that's what's going to make it draw up like that, because, you know, if we were to increase, it would lay flat, but we want it to kind of draw up and make that rectangle shape. And you're just going to keep going and going around and around. Just like that. 1 in each one. And remember, no joining. You're just going to keep going around and around and around. So, you know, you see right here, this was the last one and this is the first one. So it's seamless. Okay. And you'll notice in mine, the only reason I have this here is because I took my crochet hook out, but you can't really see, my where I started rounds and ended rounds, and it's you know, this is my center right here, and so like I said, it's gonna make it's just gonna, you can't see the joins because they're continuous. There is no joins. And so you're just gonna keep going and going until like these ends meet just like this. And I'm gonna continue this video here in a little bit once I get this closer, but like for right now, it's gonna, ignore this up here, it's gonna meet in the middle just like that. Well, it's going to be closer. It's going to be like totally right meeting in the middle here, like this. And that's when we're going to finish it off. But I will continue this video once I get that far. Okay, so see you back here in a little bit. Okay, so I'm back, and I've pretty much finished this one. Now you're going to see how it's pretty well met in the middle. Oops, sorry about that. I flipped my camera around. So I don't know if you can see. So this is what it looks like separate, and then I've gone around and around and around until they're met. Okay, so it's almost completely shut. Now you're going to want to wait until you kind of meet, because if you try to close it too soon, it's going to draw up the edges. So now if you want to put a loop on it for hanging, which I do not because I don't have any hangers, I'm just going to throw mine in a drawer because I don't have any place to hang mine. But that used to be a thing. They used to hang their pot holders. And even me, you know, to an extent, when I first had a house, you know, back in the early 2000s. But anyway, to make a loop, when you've got to the center point of where you're going to stop, you're just going to make a chain. You're going to chain probably about 15. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay, so I've got a chain of 15. And in that one spot where I stopped, right there, you can see it. That was the last one before I started chaining. I'm just going to go back in that same one. I'm going to yarn over and make a slip stitch. Okay. Now, I mean, I guess you could also, you know, make, if you don't know how to make a slip stitch, you can also make a single crochet. Matters not. So, from there, you're going to want to, before I made this video, I tried to slip stitch this shut and I did not like the results. So, I'm just going to sew it shut. So that means I'm going to cut a long tail, well, not a long, super long tail, but cut a tail and draw this through so that, I mean, I'm just pulled it completely through. And I've got my needle. And then I'm just going to stitch this shut. Just taking, I don't know if I can get this close enough for you to see, and this is probably not the best color for you to, but I'm just taking where they match up and see how I've got the top of that stitch, and I'm going across to the neighboring stitch just like that. And I'm just taking it and just pulling through. And this is kind of hard for me to do on camera and show you guys so you can see. So I'm on the the next one down, the next stitch, or at least I think I am. So next stitch here, and next stitch here, and just pull. And so we're starting to close it up. You've got your little loop here for hanging. So I'm gonna do a few more for you. You're just gonna want to just, you know, keep it, and you don't want to pull it too tight, but you don't want it to be too loose either. So if you pull it too tight, it's going to pucker. But you just want to take the stitches that are side by side. I think I missed one there. And see, even I'm not perfect. I make mistakes. So pull that back out. Ordinarily, I'd have this right up in my face so I could see what I was doing, and I'd have a brighter light. It's kind of hard where I film because I can't exactly see. There we go. That's better. And you're just going to continue to do that all the way down until you get to the end. So I'm going to finish sewing this, and then I will be back to show you how to finish it off. We've come all the way, I've stitched this all the way shut now, and I'm at the very end. So I had one at the end, just one single stitch left at the end. And so I just came back up through that one stitch, and I'm going to make, you can close this off however you like, but I'm just coming back through like this. And I'm not doing anything fancy because this is just a pot holder, but I just made a knot. And I'm going to make a double knot just because I don't like my stuff to come apart. Now, if you say, oh my God, I can't make a knot, then don't make a knot. Like I said, close this off however you see fit. And so I've made a double knot there. And then I'm just going to go back through a few stitches. You can see you can't even hardly see my needle in there. I'm just going back through to kind of hide my tail. Just like that. I'm pulling it. Just like that. And the clip in the end. And that's, just pull that to hide the tail. And that is a finished pot holder. So, I left the little hanger on it. And so it makes a fairly decent, it covers my palm, you know, so I can, you know, it's fairly decent. But like I said, if you want a bigger pot holder, you just make a longer chain. And, you know, go to, you know, 50, 55, whatever. It's going to depend a lot on your how tight you crochet or how loose, and what size of hook you use. Like I say, I use this oddball 7. It's not a 7mm, it's a size 7, and I believe it's a 4.5. So I feel like, you know, this, I just use this for little oddball projects that, you know, if I don't have a pattern for it or whatever, I just use this because it makes a good size stitch for me. So if you have any questions, I'm going to put my email address down in the link below. You can feel free to email me, or you can ask questions in the comments. But I hope that you've enjoyed this video, and as I've said in the past, I'm going to try to get more tutorials out. It's just my crochet business has kind of been booming a little bit, so I've been making projects for other people. So it's kind of hard to get videos in there. Plus my my video studio is kind of a mess right now. So, but this video was important, so I had to get it done. Anyway, thanks for watching.